Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to beautiful downtown Chillicothe. What a beautiful day. What a magnificent occasion. Absolutely give this a round of applause. We are so thrilled that you are here and so thrilled to be here. My name is Randy Davies. I'm the President and CEO of the Chillicothe-Ross Chamber of Commerce. It is my honor to welcome you to our city. For those of you who are guests to our community, and for those of you who are residents, wow, what a great occasion this is, isn't it? Amen. Many of us were standing on this corner back in April 25th, 2003, and was watching a devastating fire. And as we're standing here today, getting ready to tour one of the most beautiful buildings in Ohio, if not the best building now renovated in the state of Ohio, and we're so happy to have you here today. Before we get our program underway, I do want to introduce those who are on stage with us today, and if you would please make welcome our Mayor, Mayor Jack Ebeson. Mayor. Big round of applause for this next gentleman who has spent a little over 3 years maybe in this community and has become very well known around our area. We want to make welcome and say thank you to the Carlisle developer, Michael Chesler. Also with us today, Jobs Ohio Senior Managing Director, Christy Tanner. Christy is a Southern Ohio native, who's based here in Chillicothe as the Governor's Economic Development Representative back in the 1990s. Christy, thanks for coming today. Also with us, representing Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor's Regional Development Representative, please welcome Jim Wassel. And last but not least, the President and CEO of Adena Health System, Mr. Mark Shooter. We have a lot of folks that are visiting our community today, and as I mentioned, not only from here in Chillicothe and Ross County, but all over the area. And so we're going to do a collective welcome. And for those of our special guests that are here, I'm not going to individually name you, but if you want to, stand up and wave to the crowd, and we'll say welcome to all of you as well. Let's give all of our welcome guests a round of applause. As I mentioned, back on April the 25th, 2003, many of us were standing here in that evening watching the fire department working hard and those around the community as this iconic building was going up in flames. And we all thought at the time, what is going to happen to the cornerstone of our downtown? What is the future of our downtown going to look like? And it's taken many people, many conversations to get to this point today. One of those folks that was instrumental in keeping that discussion going was my predecessor at the Chamber of Commerce, who has come back from Florida today to be with us. Where is Marvin Jones? I want to say thank you to Marvin. We're clear in the back, where you should be. We're glad you're back here with us, Marvin. Thank you for coming back from Florida and bringing this beautiful weather. I was always told that the Chamber of Commerce is in charge of the weather, so we had to get a guy from Florida to bring up the sunshine. So thank you, Marvin, for coming up today. The cornerstone of this building was laid April the 11th, 1885. And so it stood for 128 years as a landmark of our community before that fire. And then since April 25th, 2003, I jokingly called it the largest birdhouse in Ohio for a number of years. And it was always talked about, what are we going to do, what's going to happen? And we are so thrilled today to be able to cut the ribbon and to have this beautiful building open back up again. You know, it brings not only renovation to this corner, but also to our community. And it started talk not only of renovation here in the downtown, as many of our downtown businesses and residents are starting to take pride once again in our downtown community, but all around Chillicothe and Ross County. As this building begins to open back up over the next month or so, you're starting to see some other talk and other things flourish around our Chillicothe and Ross County area. This is, and it always has been, the catalyst of making things work in our community. And so I am thrilled and just excited about the things that are happening in our town and our community over the next couple of weeks, months, and even years. At this time, I would like to welcome our mayor, of our great city of Chillicothe for a few words. Please welcome Mayor Jack Everson.
Thank you, Randy, and good afternoon to everyone that's here today. It's nice to see such a turnout for this grand event of a rebirth in downtown Chillicothe. And I'd like to give a couple shout-outs before I get started with the proclamation to firefighters that are here that battled the fire in this building on April 25th, 2003. Would you people please stand up and raise your hand if you're already standing? Let's give a hand to the firefighters. I've had the privilege the last 4 years of working with these brave men and women that put themselves in harm's way, not only the fire department, but the police department. Chillicothe's finest are certainly Chillicothe's finest. Thank you so much. And during that night, there was also a mutual aid call in from several agencies that came in and helped assisted with the fire, not only just to help our fire department here battling the blaze, but also to cover other calls throughout the city. And that kind of cooperation and interaction between mutual agencies, whether they're volunteer or other city departments, is certainly something this whole community can be proud of. I'd also like to give a shout out to two of my predecessors that are here today who kind of helped keep the faith of keeping this building standing even though there were no viable alternatives for it at the time. And that would be former Mayor Margaret Clanton, sitting right there, and former Mayor Joe Salzman. Thank you for keeping the faith and keeping this building standing, even when it was unpopular to do. So with that, I'd like to issue the following proclamation. The cornerstone of the Carlisle building was laid on April 11, 1885, making the building a historic landmark in beautiful downtown Chillicothe. The Carlisle building was considered the crown jewel of Chillicothe's historic business district for 118 years and was an iconic building because of its unique design, its architectural significance, and the symbolic role that it played in the center of Chillicothe's business district. The Carlisle building sustained major damage on April 25, 2003 by a deliberately set fire, with the top two floors sustaining major fire damage and the bottom two floors sustaining major water damage. The building then sat vacant and exposed to the elements for 8 years. In 2011, a nonprofit organization named Historic Chillicothe, Inc. bought the Carlisle building from Carlisle Tower LLC for $225,000. This group of dedicated preservationists shored up the structural defects and enclosed the roof, protecting the building from any further and unnecessary decay. In late 2013, Historic Chillicothe Inc. sold the building to the Chesler Group, a Cleveland-based firm credited with over 30 historic renovation projects. The Adena Health System and the Chillicothe Ross Community Foundation, Historic Chillicothe Inc., Jobs Ohio, and the Chesler Group have all done an incredible amount of work to provide the financial backing that has ensured this iconic building was restored to its original beauty and character. Michael Chesler was clearly the only one who could have produced this level of quality in the renovation based upon a career of impeccable craftsmanship. The finished product behind me speaks for itself. The vision of Mark Shooter and the board of directors of Adena Healthcare to invest in a community they serve in this way was truly a leap of faith rather than a good business decision. And the brilliance of this decision will pay dividends to both Adena and the community for many years to come. Once the Chesler Group began work on the renovation of the Carlisle building, a true renaissance also began in Chillicothe's historic downtown. An excitement that has already resulted in the sale of 11 buildings in the last 2 years, all of which are scheduled for renovation and a future of new use. Now complete, Carlisle also introduces a nucleus of young interns into downtown life that will prove to be the catalyst to mold future business offerings of the downtown, as well as educate the next generation of people to this grand historic significance of this great city. Therefore, I, Jack Everson, hereby proclaim Monday, October 19, 2015, as New Carlisle Day in Chillicothe, and I commend all those who've been responsible for taking action to renovate, restore, and preserve the historic structure for the benefit of Chillicothe for many, many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Appreciate that. Up next, we would like to welcome from the Chesler Group, please welcome Mr. Michael Chesler.
What a great day. Doesn't get much better than this. Just about 130 years ago, 1885, I'm sure that a group of residents gathered right here on this very spot to talk about a collection of brick and timber and stones. It was a day of celebration, I'm sure, because their town now had an icon of success. That year, a little-known author published a book about a wayward and mischievous kid called The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And the French cargo ship Isère steamed into New York Harbor with an enormous bronze statue lashed to her deck. The gift was called Liberty. And then, a world away, the Japanese elected their first prime minister, a samurai warrior named Ito Hirobumi, who had put down his sword in the name of progress. And so it goes. And here we are today celebrating a historic icon that represents the best of who we are as men and women. Most likely, many of you really can't or won't remember the horror of this building. The Carlisle was a triple threat: burned, water damaged, and neglected. For most, it was a defeat. For me, an opportunity and a challenge. And almost after 30 buildings, everyone always asks me, where do you start? How do you proceed? Then they say, which is typical, I think you're crazy. The latter is true. My family is here they can attest to that. Happy anniversary, Lisa, my wife, my son Calvin, my daughter Lane. But, however, just like any endeavor, you break down the challenge to its component parts. Work methodically and never, ever give up. The key through any difficult project is to manage the fear, make it your ally, and simply just snuff it out. The Carlisle certainly scared me, it really did. But it helped me be smarter, stronger, and more diligent. And now you Chillicothians should feel the same. Buildings and architecture represent our most important achievement as humans. I bet prehistoric man was jazzed when he decked out his new cave, or when the Pawnee and Blackfoot Indians figured out just how to create a temporary shelter to withstand the wind on the high plains. The first really mobile homes. The very fabric of who we are is rooted in our buildings and our homes, each style reflecting the needs of its creators. In 1885, the Carlisle established Chillicothe as a success, and today the Carlisle, she does it again. All of you need to know that we're here because of Mark Shooter and his board. Couldn't have done this without them. They trusted me, believed in us, believed we would succeed. Thank you, Mark. Thank you to your board. The Rusk family of Charlie's Flowers, I can't say enough. Every one of you needs to place an order at Charlie's Flowers, please. They deserve a round of applause. They stood by with smiling faces while we toiled away, and somehow they knew we would be successful. Our architects, the very best I've ever worked with: Schooley Caldwell, Melinda Shaw, Kalpa, Paul, Bob Loversige, incredibly talented people. And our construction foreman, wherever you are, Kevin, deserves an awful lot of everything. He was here every day, in the darkness and in the light, and he never walked away, which is very important to us. And Chillicothe, to you, you're all winners, and the world loves winners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chesler. We appreciate that, and all of the hard work that not only you, but also all of the contractors and subcontractors who have been here with the beeping trucks in downtown Chillicothe for a number of weeks. It's kind of nice not hearing that today, too. Any of you live downtown? I live downtown now, and for a couple of years I've heard beep, 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 beep at 6 a.m. every morning. I can let him know when they're late for work. And it's so nice to be able to say, we're finished, and it's ready to start. You know, this couldn't be done without cooperation and partnership from many, many organizations and individuals, not only here in Chillicothe and Ross County, but around the state of Ohio. It's my honor to welcome, and please help me welcome, the Senior Managing Director for Jobs Ohio, Christy Tanner.
Thanks, Randy. This is really special day. It's a special day for me to be here. As Randy said, I spent some time here in the 90s living in Chillicothe. I grew up in Portsmouth. This was my first home away from home, and my office was actually right across from the courthouse at 15 North Paint. So I spent quite a bit of time right in this corner in the Harvester restaurant, meeting friends and having business meetings there, and some of the shops along the side. And I had moved away by the time the building had burned, but I recall feeling very sad about what might happen to the downtown because it was such a key part of the heart of this community. So when Katie Farber from our Appalachian Regional Partnership group called and said, hey, listen, we've got a project here, and I think that Jobs Ohio needs to step up and be a partner with it. I had to come down and see for myself and meet the Chesler group and understand what they were trying to accomplish and see whether or not our Jobs Ohio revitalization program could be a part of this particular project. And the thing that's really challenging for us was we were literally just getting the project up and running at Jobs Ohio. We hadn't written our application. We didn't have our contracts or our documents together yet. And as we were talking through the project, we thought this is a great fit, but Michael said, no, you don't understand. We got to move quick. But we looked at the project, and we couldn't help but think that this is exactly what we created this program for. It was projects like this that are critical and important for keeping the heart of our community strong and vibrant. The things that we were looking for, you know, investments in where we can leverage our dollars in projects like this, remove blight, help increase the tax base for the community, help create jobs, and bring people living back in the downtowns. So the question wasn't whether or not we could move quickly enough. It really was, no, we have to move quickly enough because this is an important project for the community and for the state of Ohio. So I have to thank Michael Chesler and the Chesler Group for their patience and understanding and what they taught us in taking us through this program as being the one to blaze the way. And I have to also say congratulations and thank you to Adina for being the partner and for stepping up and leading this kind of project for the community. And to the city and to the county and all the residents here, congratulations to you and thank you for everything that you've done to support this project. It is truly very exciting to see this historic cornerstone building come back to life in Chillicothe. Congratulations.
Thanks so much, Christy. Up next, please welcome the representative for Lieutenant Mary Taylor from the Regional Development Office, Mr. Jim Wassel. Jim?
Well, good afternoon. We, with the help of the chamber, made sure that we dialed up some good weather today, kept all the clouds out of Chillicothe, so that's your tax dollars at work. But what a beautiful building, and I think it really stands as a tribute to those that were dedicated and determined, that had vision to make sure that this cornerstone would continue to be lively and be a very beneficial facility for Chillicothe. So I have a proclamation from Governor Kasich and Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor. They both apologize that they're unable to be here today. It says, John R. Kasich and Mary Taylor, Governor and Lieutenant Governor of Ohio, do hereby officially recognize the Adena Health System upon the rededication of the Carlisle building. On behalf of the state of Ohio, we join all those gathered to celebrate the rededication of the Carlisle building. Throughout the course of its 130-year history, the Carlisle building has become a landmark of downtown Chillicothe. We commend the many individuals and organizations who work together to preserve the historic building, including Cortland Banks, Jobs Ohio, the City of Chillicothe, the Chillicothe Ross Community Foundation, the Ross County CIC, the Chesler Group, and the Adena Health System. We are grateful for your dedication and commitment to ensuring Chillicothe's historic past can be enjoyed by future generations, and we extend our best wishes for a memorable celebration. On this 19th day of October 2015, signed, John R. Kasich, Governor, Mary Taylor, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you.
Jim, thank you. We appreciate that. It is my honor and privilege to introduce this next gentleman who has become a friend not only to our community but to me as well, and get to welcome him as a new tenant and a new neighbor here in the downtown Chillicothe area. I was looking out, I don't know if Mark knew this, I was in his office yesterday kind of looking out his window. I didn't sit in your chair, but I did look out your window just to see if I could see my office from his window. And if we stretched close enough, we might be able to wave at each other early in the morning, but we'll give it a shot. Let's welcome the President and CEO from Adena Health Systems, Mr. Mark Shooter.
Well, thank you for all being here today. This is a big day for all of us, a big day for our community. And, there's so many people that have been involved. For me personally, this goes back 5 years. And, our board, this project had many ups and downs. And so thousands of hours, I would say probably 1,000 people along the way. But there is one individual that I need to single out. And that is Ty McBee. And he probably is hiding from me someplace. Is Ty around? Okay, stand up, Ty. Through thick and thin, and but he probably will duck the next time I tell him I have a little community service project. Well, Adena's roots go back to 1895, and our local churches got Adena started based on Christian values and a vision of meeting community needs. And 120 years later, I'm proud to say we're still trying to do the same thing. And so as we think through, how many people have offered up prayers for this need for our community, for the Carlisle building, I just want to say thank you, and how great we are. We see the answer to those prayers, and we can take the Carlisle project off those list of concerns for our community. This renovation meets two needs. The first is obvious for our downtown. This building became a source of irritation for most of us, a concern for many, and had reached a state of almost total disrepair. Now it stands as a testimony to what we can do with a shared vision, teamwork, and shared values. So I hope that we go by this building, we'll think of any other project or anything we face in our community that we can tackle those tough challenges. Second is about Adena's needs. We added, boys like those ambulances. This project, Adena, our needs of focusing on community needs to take care of people, we added education to our mission statement right before we started the PACCAR campaign. And as you know, it's a PACCAR medical education facility. It is world-renowned. It is by far the best in the United States. We focused on nursing first, doubled the number of bachelor's prepared nurses. Now there's 70 advanced practice nurses throughout the Adena Health System. 2008, we started on medical education. In our first rotation, we had 3 medical students rotate through Adena Health System. This past year, we had 185. And it is those medical students that will be housed up in this building. Now they're all over through the community, not in the best circumstances. We'll bring those together, and it'll be a great addition to our downtown. Those medical students, we hope, will stay in our community, we'll embrace them, and those will fill our resident physician positions. We now have 48 physicians that are in training in emergency medicine, family practice, internal medicine. And so if you think through what will happen decades from now as these kids, as we recruit kids that are smaller communities, want to be in this community, what that'll mean decades from now, it's going to be amazing. Finally, this project built partnerships and relationships throughout our community. Although there are many needs still to be met for us to have the healthy and thriving community that's our vision, this is a major step forward. And I think all of us can say that, we're just so proud of this day, and thank you for everybody involved.
Thank you so much, Mark, and the board of the Adena Health System. We appreciate all that you've done and are continuing to do, not only in our downtown, but also in our region and around central and southern Ohio. Well, it is now time for why we are all here, to get ready to cut the ribbon and to open this facility that has been here since the late 1800s and now ready to take another rebirth here in 2015. There are several folks that we would like to call up to the stage. So as you start making your way up here, we'll be lining up right here in front of the stage. We've done, Bobby and Brianna, how many ribbon cuttings we've done the last couple of weeks? I don't know, a couple of dozen it seems like. And it's always like pushing a rope when you're trying to get everybody up here. So give us a few minutes to try to get everybody lined up and ready to do this. But if we could have the following folks get ready to come up. Members of the Adena Board of Trustees, along with Steve Burkhardt, a few folks who could start making their way up the backstage here. Also representatives from the Chillicothe City Council, if you folks would come up. Our Ross County Commissioners, I believe, are here in attendance as well today. If you 3 gentlemen could come up. Representatives from the Chillicothe Ross Foundation. Also the Chesler Group team, come on up. Representatives from the Chillicothe Community Improvement Corporation. Is Dard Hunter here? We'd like for Dard to come up as well if he was able to make it today. Ty, front and center, buddy. Mr. Ty McBee. Also Jeff Webb. Jeff's in attendance today. And also the architect for this project, Melinda Shaw. If you can come up here. And guys, we'll stand up here. I'm going to move this. We're going to get things done. Let me give you some instructions of what's going to happen, though, right after we cut the ribbon. We're going to open this building so you can see it. And you can see the great work that has been going on here in downtown Chillicothe for the last couple of years, and we want you to tour this. We know there are a lot of people here today. If you don't have time to tour, because it's going to take a little while to get all of you through, we will be doing tours the next couple of times a month, I think Ty said. At least twice a month. You can go to adena.org and schedule your tour, and so we would love for you to be able to see that. After we cut the ribbon, we're going to ask that our dignitaries and those who are here in the front, if they would please walk over here and line up along the brick wall of the building. We'll be taking you through the front entrance of the Carlisle building right here on the corner. And then if everybody else would like to line up behind them, we're just going to line down the street. And then we'll be funneling you through the building and give you about a 20-minute, half-hour tour of many of the great aspects of this renovated building. There is an elevator. Who said we had a bad knee? We have an elevator. All right, I'm going to scoot this out of the way, and we will get ready. All right, everybody come on up here. Never been used official gold-handled scissors to cut the ribbon. This is always the tough part, right? You are heavy. Everybody squeeze in. You're on the edge. You can hold it. Squeeze on the other end here. Awesome. All right, this is the tough part. Everybody squeeze in. Where's the official photographer? All right, see Brian with his hand up. Stare at that lens. There's a bunch of cameras everywhere, so look at the official. Steve, scoot on in here. You're important. We got to get the commissioner up here. Yeah, hold me up here, too. All right, we're going to take a couple of pose shots, as our chamber photographer likes to say. Doug, you want to go ahead and give the call?
You ready to rock and roll? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations. Welcome to downtown Chillicothe. What an exciting day. We thank you all so much for coming down today. You folks right here, if you want to line up first right along the wall, we're going to get